If you've ever been told that yours is perfect because the big ones hurt, we got a video for you today. LCP Max, Ruger, let's go. Normally with you guys, when I get a new handgun, I normally bring it out here and I shoot the first magazine through with you guys so we can kind of shoot it together and feel it together. But this time with the LCP Max, I bought this about, I'd say maybe 3 or 4 months ago. I've carried it, I have 3 different holsters for it, so I have a little bit more experience behind it. I'm gonna try to convey that to you. Likely if you're here, you're either thinking about buying it or you've just bought it and you just kind of want to run through, so I'm gonna try to help you out. At the beginning of the video, we're gonna have a little fun. We're gonna shoot some pumpkins. We're gonna check penetration for the 380 auto versus 9 versus 45, and then we'll kind of get into the carry aspect of it, you know, comfort and kind of its role, the things I was worried about when I went to buy it, and the things I was excited about when I went to buy it. So here we go. All right, before we get too far in, we wanted to thank the sponsor of the channel. It's me. I bought the gun, paid for the ammo. But the beautiful thing with YouTube is when we make these videos and you guys watch them, YouTube pays us. So really it's you guys. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. All your comments, your likes, your subscriptions, help us out, help us make these videos. So thank you very much. To compare penetration, what we're gonna do, I mean, it's almost Halloween. I'm gonna put we're gonna shoot 380 auto, 9mm, and 45 auto, all hollow points into a pumpkin. And then we're gonna rotate it, and I got 2 more, and we're gonna line them up, and I'm gonna shoot it with the 380. We're gonna see if we can even get through 3 pumpkins, and if we don't, I'll try to find that slug and see what it looks like. All right, so we're gonna shoot the single pumpkin. We're using these 380, I think it's Federal HST. Little entrance, pretty good exit. Okay, 9mm now. These are also Federal HSTs, 147. This is my carry gun. A little bit bigger hole. Hit about the same exit, but man, way different. That's like a proper hole. All right, we're gonna rotate it a little bit. We'll do 45 auto. 45 auto, HSTs again. All right, so here you go. 380, 9mm, 45 auto. I mean, it's not that different of a exit, but this is the 2 and this is the 45 auto. But man, they're coming out a lot hotter than they're going in. We're gonna shoot 3 in a row with the 380 auto, see if they actually get through. I don't think they're gonna get through. What do you think, Brad?
2. I go 2.
Okay, here we go. All right, let's see here. We got 1. We got 2. It's in this one. So this is the pass through. This is the hollow point too, and this is the 3rd entry. Not that large. So we're gonna cut this open, see if I can find that slug. Ooh. I can feel a channel. Oh no way! I feel the channel. Whoa, man, that folded back. You can see that core. That's pretty sweet. So 2.5 pumpkins, 380 auto. That's actually badass. This gun has been on my list of guns I've wanted to have for my rotation of firearms for a while, but I just had a couple of reservations with it. The first was 380 auto. All the guns I carry are 9mm, so it was just, obviously it's kind of a step down of a bullet. And then I shot the original LCP and the trigger was just so bad, the sights were so bad, so it had kind of just fallen off my radar. And then Ruger, I'm not a big Ruger guy. I've shot a lot of their pistols and I've just never really been a fan of the trigger and just kind of the ergonomics of the gun. But Ben from Wiseman Company made a video on it, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna go buy one, because he does a great job of just kind of showing its strengths and weaknesses. So we're going to talk about some of those here that I found since owning it and shooting it and carrying it. This gun has been a blast to carry in this Ruger. This came with the gun. I had reservations about this, especially carrying it chambered, just because this is soft. I mean, I don't think you're gonna get to the trigger, but to give you guys two examples of when I kind of thought about it. Normally I like to put a gun on and not think about it, like the gun I carry most of the time. But I had this in, these are the pants I wear all the time. These are Duluth, like firefighter, I don't know. But it's got this front pocket, so I put it in there. And my fiance left her purse when we went out to dinner, so I went back out to get it, and that pocket hit on the corner of a table as I was walking out, and it just like fires in my brain like, ooh, that's probably not good. And then golfing one time, I was like working the steering wheel and my hand came across and like slammed into my leg. So it's a little weird just because I feel like this is the, I don't think unsafe's the right word, but it's just the most vulnerable I've carried a chambered gun, but it's been solid. We're gonna have B-roll running for all these holsters just so you guys can see them a little bit more up close. But when I had this and I didn't like the softness of it, I bought this. I believe this is a Vetter. I got it on Amazon. And you're basically drawing these and raking the holster in your pocket as it's coming out so the holster doesn't come with you. What I didn't like about this one, and this one really hasn't been used much, is it prints really bad in your pocket. Like, it screams I have a gun in my pocket, where this one kind of like folds into the material. So this one is definitely used more than this one, but this one's got obviously better trigger guard and things like that and a better hook for drawing it, but this one really hasn't made the rotation that much. This is the third holster I bought. This is a Amber Ride, I think. I also got this on Amazon. This is like a belt proper carry. The only thing I don't like about this is the gun's so small that it's really in your belt line, and they don't, obviously the holster's so little, they don't put a claw on it, so it kind of moves around in your belt line. I thought I would use this one more, honestly, but I've just been using the Ruger one that came with it. And the day I shot that Ruger, I was like dogging on that holster, but really for what you're gonna use this gun for, it kind of really is the best one. And I think there's some leather versions and maybe a little bit like better versions, but that one's been solid. One thing I did like with this one is if I'm wearing a hoodie like this, I'll just grab this off and just put it in here and run to the store real quick, and it's just kind of in there, and it's like locked in that one with retention. So that's another role that holster plays, not having to be on the belt, but also not having to have pockets, you know, shorts and stuff like that. So works out good. It's kind of hard to define the role that this gun plays. I enjoy it for just the ease of concealment, first of all, because it's so small, and it's just kind of the gun you throw in your pants when you're running quick errands and stuff like that. As you're going to see here in the accuracy part of it, it's definitely not the gun that you're comfortable taking those long shots with, just because of the sight radius and the trigger a little bit. But it definitely has a role, and I found myself kind of going to it more than I thought I would in my, like, I have 4 guns that are kind of rotational for carry, and I thought I wouldn't go to this one very much, but I have. And it's just been a solid one. So with the shorter sight radius and just a small gun in general, accuracy is obviously something that I always think about. So we're gonna take some shots here at 5 yards, and then we're gonna move it out to 15 yards, and we'll just see how we can stack some rounds. I'm just gonna try to shoot where my first bullet falls, and we'll just put them on target. So this is 5 yards. We'll just shoot like 6 shots. So I mean, that's a solid group from 5 yards. You guys can see that. And now let's step it out to, let's do 20. We'll do 20. 20 was overzealous. We're gonna do 15. I'm just gonna try to hit it in the head bot. Ah. 15 yards. I mean, for the little gun like that, I'll take that accuracy, but you can tell my cadence is slower. My sights are washing out the target, so it's not great, but any bit beyond that, so like grocery store links and things like that, I wouldn't be as comfortable. So that's where this gun really has its like drawback. It's really like a close range gun. Obviously a huge part of concealed carry is your ability to get shots on target. So we are going to take a couple of reps with each holster style so you guys can maybe decide, you know, kind of which one works best for you. I think all these holsters were less than 100 because one came free, and I think they were under 40 on Amazon. So, I mean, you can load up on them for relatively cheap. So we're gonna go off shot timer here, belt line first. So I'm like, for as small a gun it is, I do feel like I can get planted on it and find it very quickly. Where a lot of times with like small guns, I feel like my hands are just all over it and it doesn't feel like a traditional handgun purchase from holster, but this one's pretty good. That was a 1.4, so it's pretty slow, but we're not trying to burn it down right now. Again, I mean, I have a traditional grip. My thumb's not in front of the barrel. I mean, for a small gun, it doesn't feel that small. That was a 1.3. Where this gun kind of has a nice roll too is just being able to do that. You know, that small, just point, shoot, and that was 1 second. So you're not going to be as accurate, but it definitely, you can get that gun into the fight pretty quick. Let's do that one more time. We'll just do another one-handed. So these hits are all, I got 3 A zone, 1 C zone. So I'm very close, but it's feels good. That was a 1.1. Now let's check those pocket holsters. My issue with pocket carry is it's slow and it's never efficient. Obviously you could start out like this. So we're gonna do that first, where I'm kind of already purchased the gun and it's just prepping for the draw, and then we'll do some actual draw and shoots from hands out. So let's see how this goes for normal, like. So you can see the holster came out there even though I raked it. 2 seconds. And if you're gonna be using this one-handed and the holster comes out with it, you're kind of screwed. So you really have to kind of practice this draw stroke. That was 2 seconds with it in my pocket. Perfect example, 2.3, holster came out with it. So that's not great, right? Now let's do this in like if I was just standing in there and I needed to get it. Not great purchase, I was a little low on the gun. Accuracy is fine, but that was a 2.5. So that's my beef, right? Like, it's great to have a gun with you. I think that's awesome. Any gun that you can carry and take that you're not going to leave at home is solid. But there's just limitations to it being deep concealed. So 2.5 is not a standard that I would keep for myself. But again, better to have a gun than not have a gun. Let's switch to the hard shell holster. Okay, hard shell, same style. A little bit better like hook for drawing it. We're gonna do this one-handed again from ready and just see. I bet it's gonna be right around the same time. Came out with it. We'll go through it. It's a 2.3. The cut on these is very low, like angled, so it's hard to rake it in, where more traditional pants is gonna have the pocket. It'll make it a little bit easier for you. Just something to think about. That was a 1.5. Okay, so the trigger, as ugly as it looks, let's just see how this is together. Take up, obviously more than you want. I don't know, but pretty heavy. I mean, much heavier than your standard. Reset. There. So pretty long take up, pretty long reset. Honestly, shooting it, it doesn't feel as bad as it looks right now. I don't know how to explain that, but this won't be our traditional first mag impression, but we're just gonna run, I think I got 10 in here. We're just gonna run these. I'm gonna shoot it and we'll talk through it together, just kind of what I'm feeling. So the first thing I notice is the purchase on it. You're not gonna get it as high up to that slide as you would with like a Glock, but your offhand can plant on it without getting in front of that barrel. So not as high as I'd like, but good. Front sight falls in naturally. You do have a little green dot on the front. Trigger take up, not the greatest. and it rolls out of my hand. I don't know if you guys can see, my thumb's a little lower. There's just no like stippling or anything there, so I fall off on quick shots, but honestly, it's really not that bad. It slams into the webbing of your gun hand, and that's just what starts to wear over time. Basically, like right here, it's just this little like bump just slams back into your webbing, and you're not going to want to shoot more than 50 to 100 rounds. But really, for a small gun, I'm comfortable shooting fast. I'm comfortable with my accuracy, 15 yards and in. Pleasantly surprised, honestly. So to sum up the Ruger LCP Max, I think for me, being able to have that little gun in your rotation that kind of fits a role that your bigger Glock 19s, even my Glock 43, doesn't fill. It's nice to just have that gun that you know you can take with you. Pocket gun, front pocket gun, it's really nice. For the price, the sights are decent, trigger's decent. I mean, nothing's gonna blow you away, but I do think it's a good gun in that price point. I think it's around 300 bucks is what I paid for it. It's not fun to shoot. The first day we got it, Brad and I came out here, shot it. I basically forced us to get through the boxes because it was hurting my hands. It's just very snappy. And you know, unfortunately, a lot of times at gun counters, they're pushing these guns on new shooters and new gun owners because they're small and they're just not great to shoot. But it definitely is a sweet gun for the role that I needed it for. It's a gun that, like I said, I have carried more than I thought I would. And I know a lot of guys that just throw this in their pocket along with their main gun as a backup. So it definitely has a place in your rotation if you can afford it. Obviously, if you can't, just run one gun. And I'm always a big preacher of having a gun is better than not having a gun. So it's a great gun for that role. And I hope you enjoyed the video. We always love coming out here. Big thanks to Brad for letting us shoot out on his property. And we'll see you on the next one.